There is a number so large, so impossible, that even most economists refuse to say it out loud. A number bigger than the global economy, bigger than the value of every stock, bond, currency, and piece of land on Earth combined. 1 quadrillion dollars. And it isn't money. It's a shadow system. You can't see it. You can't touch it. You can't withdraw it from a bank, yet this invisible web secretly dictates the interest rates you pay, the value of your currency, and whether your bank survives the night. It's called the global derivatives market. And here's the part nobody will tell you. It cannot be controlled. It cannot be regulated. And if it breaks, everything breaks. Today, we dive inside the greatest financial time bomb ever created, the $1 Quadrillion Derivatives Web. Every crisis begins with a simple idea, and in the early 1970s, the world was entering financial chaos. The US had just left the gold standard. Currencies were no longer fixed. Markets were volatile. Banks were panicking, and in the middle of this storm, a new invention arrived. Innocently, almost by accident. The first modern derivatives contracts. These were supposed to be simple tools, boring tools. Tools to help businesses protect themselves from risk. A farmer wants to lock in a price for wheat. A company wants to protect against rising interest rates. A bank wants insurance against currency swings. Simple, safe, helpful. But bankers saw something else. They saw leverage, they saw profit, and they saw the birth of a financial weapon. By the late 1980s, Wall Street realized it could use derivatives to bet on anything. Currencies, interest rates, corporate failures, government debt, commodities, mortgages, even other derivatives. A market designed for protection, quietly transformed into the biggest casino the world had ever seen. The shadow system was born. By the 1990s, derivatives were multiplying like viruses. Every major bank wanted in, every trading desk wanted more. Every CEO wanted the profits. This wasn't investing. This wasn't hedging. This was weaponized mathematics. And one man accelerated it all. Alan Greenspan, the Federal Reserve Chairman, who believed markets could regulate themselves. Under his leadership, the US government refused to regulate derivatives, ignored warnings from economists, dismissed risks as academic concerns. Greenspan believed in an idea that would later destroy entire economies. Smart bankers don't need rules. And with that one belief, the derivatives market exploded. By the year 2000, the global derivatives market had grown beyond comprehension. Not billions, not trillions, but hundreds of trillions. And here's the terrifying part. Most of it wasn't on any public exchange. It lived off book, in private contracts, in secret agreements, inside spreadsheets, one bad formula away from disaster. The global financial system had created a monster no one understood. In 1998, the world came within inches of a meltdown. It happened because of a single hedge fund, long-term capital management, LTCM, created by Nobel Prize winners, the smartest mathematicians on Wall Street, legendary traders. They were called too smart to fail. But derivatives don't care how smart you are. LTCM used huge leverage. They borrowed billions to bet trillions on tiny price differences across the world. Everything worked until it didn't. A financial shock in Russia triggered a chain reaction. LTCM's positions collapsed. Its derivative bets blew up. And suddenly, the global system faced a nightmare. If LTCM fell, it would take the entire derivatives market with it. Banks would fail. Currencies would crash. World trade would freeze. So the Federal Reserve did something unprecedented. They forced Wall Street's biggest banks into a room, locked the doors, and made them rescue the dying hedge fund. A private bailout. No vote. No public debate. That night proved one thing. Even a small player could trigger a global catastrophe. Because the derivatives web connects everyone to everything. 10 years later, It happened again, but this time, the world wasn't lucky. Mortgages became securities. Securities became derivatives. Derivatives became synthetic derivatives. And banks used all of them to build a tower of leverage that defied logic. The result? The 2008 financial crisis. It wasn't caused by bad loans. It wasn't caused by greedy homeowners. It was caused by a derivatives chain reaction. When one link broke, everything broke. AIG collapsed because of derivatives. Lehman Brothers collapsed because of derivatives. Entire economies fell because of derivatives. And yet, after the dust settled, after millions lost homes, jobs, and savings, the derivatives market didn't shrink. It grew larger because the governments bailed out the banks, and the banks returned to the same game. Today, the same system that nearly destroyed the world is 10 times bigger. You would think regulators would have shut it down, but instead, something strange happened. The banking system built a new layer of secrecy. OTC derivatives 2.0, bigger, more complex, harder to trace synthetic derivatives. Derivatives built on top of derivatives. Dark pool swaps. Hidden trading among unregulated crypto derivatives. A new Wild West. And then came the biggest mutation of all. Central clearinghouses. The institutions meant to protect the system, but that now hold concentrated risk. If a clearinghouse fails, every bank connected to it fails. Instantly, the entire global system is now tied together by a single fragile thread. Banks used to hide their own risks. Now, they share the same risks. One failure, one mistake, one shock, and the whole web collapses. Officially, regulators claim the derivatives market is around $600 trillion, but that number is a lie. Because banks use a trick called notional netting. It lets them hide the real exposure. When you remove that accounting trick, global derivatives exceed $1 quadrillion. $1 quadrillion. More than 10x global GDP. 20x the value of all world stock markets. 50x the amount of actual money this market does not physically exist. It is imaginary risk, tied to real consequences. And it is so large, so interconnected, so fragile, that no government, bank, or institution can control it anymore. Not the Federal Reserve, not the IMF, not the BIS, not even the largest banks that created it. The bomb is now bigger than its makers. Here's the part experts fear the most but refuse to discuss publicly. We are entering a period of rising interest rates, global debt, crises currency, wars, geopolitical tensions, slowing economies, massive liquidity shortages. This is the exact same environment that caused every past derivatives meltdown. But this time, the market is bigger, faster, and more automated. AI trading systems manage trillions in derivative positions. Algorithms react in microseconds. One sudden shock, a default, a war, a currency crash, a bank failure, and the system could spiral out of control before humans even realize what happened. Derivatives don't wait. They don't negotiate. They don't forgive. When the chain reaction begins, it spreads instantly. This is why economists call derivatives the doomsday machine. If the derivatives web collapses, the effects would be immediate. 1. All major banks freeze. They cannot unwind positions fast enough. 2. Global credit stops. Loans, mortgages, business financing, gone overnight. 3. Currencies begin collapsing because derivatives pressure exchange rates in real time. 4. Central banks panic. They print. They intervene. They fail to keep up. 5. Stock markets crash uncontrollably. Margin calls trigger automatic liquidations. 6. Governments impose capital controls. to stop money from fleeing the system. This is not speculation. We saw glimpses of it in 1998, 2008 and 2020. Each time, the system nearly died. Each time, it came back larger. The next time, it may not come back. Here is the terrifying truth. Derivatives cannot be removed. Why? Because every financial institution depends on them. Governments use derivatives to fund debt. Corporations use them to survive interest rate changes. Banks use them for profit. Investors use them to hedge portfolios. Shut down derivatives, and the financial world collapses instantly. Keep derivatives alive, and the collapse simply gets delayed. This is why regulators fear the system. This is why no one talks about it. This is why this story never makes the news. The derivatives web is the largest financial addiction in history, and there is no way to quit. We are seeing the same warning signs today as 1929, 1973, 1998, 2008. Each crisis started with excessive leverage, hidden risks, inflated asset prices, cheap money, growing inequality. Every major crash began with the same psychology. This time is different, and every time, the system broke exactly the same way. Today is no different. In fact, it's worse. Debt is at record highs. Banks are more interconnected. Derivatives are larger and more complex. AI controls markets humans no longer understand. Geopolitical instability is rising. Liquidity is evaporating. Everything that caused past collapses is now happening simultaneously. There are only three possible outcomes. Outcome 1. Slow, controlled deflation of the derivatives market. This is what regulators hope for. It has never happened in history. Outcome 2. A contained crisis like 1998. Possible, but unlikely at this scale. Outcome 3. A full-scale systemic meltdown. If triggered, it would be the largest financial collapse ever recorded. This is why experts call the derivatives system the financial weapon of mass destruction. Not because it was designed to harm the world, but because it is now too large for anyone to stop. Takeaway 1. The derivatives market is larger than the global economy and cannot be regulated or controlled. Takeaway 2. Every financial crisis in the last 30 years traces back to derivatives' hidden leverage, waiting to explode. Takeaway 3. The system is fragile, interconnected, and dependent on AI trading that reacts faster than human intervention. The $1 Quadrillion Derivatives Web is not a theory, not a conspiracy, not a prediction. It exists, it grows, and one day, it will snap. When it does, no central bank, no government, and no billionaire will be able to stop what follows. If you want to understand the hidden systems shaping our world, if you want the truth behind every crisis, every collapse, and every global shift, subscribe. Because the next episode might reveal the one secret the world isn't ready to hear.